My name is Ammar Kalo. I'm currently an assistant professor and director of labs at the American University of Sharjah at the College of Architecture and Design. I studied architecture at the same school actually that I work at right now. What inspires me, it's quite a bunch of random things. It might be, a small book that I read. It might be just found objects, seashells and sea urchins. It could be, conversations I had with people, or it could be, through research, actual design products. I think I try to capture some of that, bits and pieces of it in my work, and also not be too literal in the references. Still have them my own. I came to know about Godrej Design Lab when I was exhibiting in Dubai. I was exhibiting a few pieces. Someone showed up and said, you might be interested in doing this. And a few months later, I applied, and that's how I kind of got in. So I have two products. One of them is a stool that's made of Baltic birch plywood. So once you carve it out on a machine, you get these very interesting layered textures. So the idea is to try to express that somehow by the seat shape. The second one is having a table that's made of different planks of wood that are not glued together, rather joined with a simple steel key. So this one's called fibrous keys. And the idea is to have to build a large horizontal surface for a coffee table. In woodworking they have a dovetail joint, yes, or a butterfly key, yes, which is usually made out of wood to kind of prevent wood from cracking further. So this idea is to have two pieces or more of wood tied together with a steel key without the need of gluing any of the pieces together. So it's almost like a large puzzle. You put it together, and then when you purchase the thing, it could be, bought as a stack of wood with a bunch of keys. Then you take it out, you construct the large. So I did another stool with birch plywood. I think it's in there. But the thing about that is that it's all made of the same material, the same sort of seat top, but then introduced this new material. And in the proposal, they just kind of stick into the back. So if we take one of these, they just go in. Three of them, and that sits on the ground.
So maybe these kind of details which we are needs a little bit of resolvement, and how this fusion is happening between two materials. I think that would be interesting to see. So I like this your cutout in the pipe. So not keeping it conventional pipe, you have some element of interest at the bottom as well.
I was experimenting with stains, so maybe this could be black, but as long as the stain is translucent enough.
I want like a black seat with a little brass hardware.
Yeah, so that's kind of.
I liked the way he is detailing things out, and the overall thought process is visible. There is a philosophy which he is following. There's good amount of attention to detail, good understanding of material. All these things are very thoughtful. So I kind of appreciate that. A designer should have all these qualities, which is very rare to find.
The reason I chose wood and metal is because I wanted the warmth of the wood, but also the strength of the metal pieces. So that came from like a purely functional aspect. The shape of the seat top, I had the front part extended out a little so that your thighs are resting on it. It becomes more comfortable. Or even if it's a soft edge, an edge that is pressing against, the mid of your thigh. So just extending it a little, an inch or so, makes it much more comfortable, and also I was able to make it thinner in profile at the edges, tying it back to highly organic nature of the seat top. The main struggle for me was trying to get the piece designed and fabricated the way I wanted it. A lot of times the parts would be too expensive to machine, or cheaper ways of doing it would be too rough or too crude. So the final solution was somewhere in between, where it's not too expensive to make, but it still also has the same aesthetic qualities and functional qualities that I wanted it to have. are slanting and the connection is at the top of the seat. Usually it's down at the bottom because that's where it's most strength, but the way I design it is that you can still have it at the top and give it the same strength. Oh, I just got done making a sample for the metal key. Once this is done, I'm going to take it to the fabricator and have a whole bunch made and then polished as a final piece. And then we're going to have the metal keys attached to wooden planks, which are also going to be done at another fabricator's. So the wooden pieces will be done in about a week's time. Design process and testing out the joints, I realized that first of all the cells have to be smaller so that they fit within standard wooden planks instead of trying to join pieces in order to serve the design. So the design kind of changed because of the requirements of the material. So the shape of the keys also have to be redefined and spread further apart, because the closer they were together, the thinner the piece of wood is going to have to be. So right now we're going to one of the fabricators who's doing sample pieces for me for fibrous keys. The last part that I did with him had a rounded corner which wouldn't then allow the key to fit inside the pocket. The edges are as sharp as they should be in order for all the pieces to fit properly. The thing is, you can't sand it too much. Like, it has to be like this, because the piece can fit in. If you sand it too much, you're going to change the shape. If it's protruding out like this, we can sand it down.
The problem is without nail, so it's coming little up. So that time is the tool will be hidden this way.
The tabs in here in this piece, so you cut only half, and then you come out, you cut the rest of it. So you cut the top, cut the bottom, cut the side, and there's only small piece.
Pieces only.
And then this you could flip. Well, I basically went to the vendor and got 3 of these sample pieces, and their follow-up on this piece. This had a lot of problems, the rounded edges that I spoke about before, a lot of unclean, kind of clogged up pieces. The next thing is getting a new piece done, a new sample, and once that's approved, then I can go and finalize all the other pieces. Yeah, I think it should be fine in 10 days. I'll be able to make it. So right now I'm going to have a meeting with Alex. Hopefully it's going to go well. We're going to talk about all the pieces in preparation for the exhibition, and hopefully all the pieces are going to be done on time and everything will be ready by then.
It is nice to see different kinds of projects where, I'm really looking forward to seeing this at the end.
Yeah, me too.
And this kind of A/B comparison of this guy to what actually changed in the future with the refinement of the details. So that'll be really cool to see.
The other thing that changed is this was a 3D printed metal piece and quite complicated.
What's this?
Now it's much more simplified because it's simply just
die stamp, laser cut.
Laser cut, 5mm, mild steel.
Oh, because this was 3D printed for that simple little spigot.
Yes. So hopefully once the samples are finalized, we can go ahead into production. Vendors also, I kind of worked with them on doing this piece, which is a proto version of the final that I want. So you can see with this one it's quite flat, and then it transitions down to the pipe, which is what that guy's doing, and it's at a 15-degree angle, so the legs that come down from the stool kind of cant out. Good to have feedback from Alex about these various bits and pieces so far that I've been only working on my own.
Ammar has been really kind of, I wouldn't say autopilot. He came into the first meeting with a bunch of prototypes. So we kind of discussed, we had some kind of good back and forth in that first week, and then he's just kind of executed on all of those ideas, blazing a path forward. So I don't foresee any problems. I think this is going to be done. We're going to have a number of prototypes ready. It's just nice that I don't have to worry about it being done. It's just awesome. I'm very happy. I'm very glad, that we can see. To me, this is like what I would expect out of GDL.
GDL was a critical kind of opportunity for me to take some of the ideas and flesh them out and have the chance to develop these prototypes with consumers in mind, and potentially having different people using those products. So it was really a great chance to take some of those ideas and really work on them more, develop them, make them more efficient, more production friendly. The main way that Godovich Design Lab helped me is by enabling the production of the pieces, taking all these ideas and having support to be able to produce them, but also ultimately connecting all the pieces that were produced with a larger audience. So having that platform that takes it from my studio all the way out to the world, and having a lot of people interact with it, and that becomes a precious moment. It's been 7 months, and I've only been working with them for so long, and it would be nice to have someone else or a lot of people be involved at the same time. It's finally great to be at the exhibition, having gone through this long process, a few months of hard work, and it's great to see the products on display over here and interacting with the people and kind of describing to them how the process went and what the products are all about. So it's pretty exciting. The response in the exhibition has been great so far, a lot of positive feedback. Most of the people I've spoken to liked their products and seemed interested in perhaps purchasing them maybe in the future, who knows, but it's been great so far. Delighted to see some of the joints that I've developed, and kind of interested in seeing how they work. It's been nice to explain to them what the thought process behind it, and show them physically on the pieces how they function.
Ammar's products, very, very finished looking, which is actually very cool. A lot of the stuff that we have here at GDL this year and every year looks slightly unfinished, which is how it's supposed to be because they're prototypes at the end of the day. But Ammar clearly knew what he wanted out of all of this. It's beautifully finished, beautifully made, and I think it's ready for the world.
What I see about the tables is the way that you have created your own fittings, which promise to be quite solid. And also from the finishing aspect, I would say, since I hardly find any joints there, open spaces, haven't explored it yet, but from what I understand here, it should hold up quite well. So, which of course is beautiful. All in all,
it's like a puzzle which he has tried to put together. So it might have been really very difficult for him to get the exact measurements to cut and then place them in their perfect places. It looks really nice. It looks different. I haven't seen anything like that before.
The journey with GDL has been quite long and hard. It took a long time to get the products developed, but it was also fun and interesting for me to figure out all the details along the way. So it was pretty good overall, and it's so nice to see them finally done right now.